our Docker host is ready, our source code is ready, our network part is also ready. Now we just need to start our game, and we are going to create our first container, and this will be our MySQL database container. So let's start. Now here we have all the process. First of all, we have to find out Docker file of this particular database container. So we have to navigate to the Docker compose/MySQL. So right now I am inside Docker compose folder. Here I am getting this MySQL. So let's go to the MySQL and then give ls command. Here we got two files. One Docker file and another file is init.sql. Now we want to understand what is there inside this Docker file. So I'm going to use command vi docker file, and this is a commands we have inside Docker file. Now when I will create image from this Docker file, it will create MySQL DB. So I'm going to explain you Docker file for MySQL container. Let's understand this step by step. If you look at this, here we have from, and it is MySQL:latest. Then this is environment variable, and there is a one command copy. Let's understand all this step by step. First of all, from MySQL:latest. Now this is actually latest image of MySQL server. We can say that it is a base image. When we are using containers, we have huge advantage. If you are installing MySQL server inside normal virtual machine, you have to create virtual machine first. Like you have to install operating system, then you have to install MySQL server separately. Here we have MySQL latest Docker container image that we are going to download from Docker Hub, and it will use as a base image. We are directly using this. Now let's talk about the second point. It is environment variable. The first variable we have is environment MySQL root password equal to Indian@123. When you have your database, you have to set up root password. In the database, the super user is actually root, and while we are installing database, we have to set up root password. So using this environment variable, we are actually setting up root password of our MySQL database. This sets the password for MySQL root user. It is required for MySQL to start, and when we want to access this database, we have to use this password as well. In upcoming video, we will create adminer container, and from adminer we will access this database to verify that everything is working properly. The second variable we have is env environment variable MySQL database equal to testdb. As you know that in our application we are going to get users first name, last name and email using PHP web application, and we are going to store this inside the database. So in MySQL database, we have to create one table, and here we just provided name of this table, and this is testdb. You can give any name. This specifies the name of the database to be created when MySQL container is first started. If the database with this name does not exist, it will create automatically. So when we will use this, it is going to set up MySQL database. Inside this, it will have root password. It is Indian@123, and it will create one database as well, and the database name will be testdb. Now, this one is the most important part. See, the whole process is, first of all, we need to set up operating system. I'm talking about in normal circumstances. We have to set up operating system. Then we have to install MySQL. While we are installing MySQL, we have to define root password. This is what we have defined over here. Once you define this, you have to create one database. Here we have this, and the name of the database is testdb. Now inside database, you have to create table. And in the table, you have to define all the schemas like what you want from the user. Here we are actually getting input from user, first name, last name and email. All this you have to define inside your database and we call it table. Here, how we are defining table? We are actually defining table using this init.sql file. Now this file is actually available here along with the source code. Let me open another file. One second. I'm not going to save this. Okay, see we have another file, init.sql. If I'm going to open this file, see here you will find out that in this file we have defined one table. So inside database it will create one table and the table name will be users. Now in this table we will have 4 fields. First will be integer field and it will automatically increase, it is auto increment, so it will add record number and we will use this as a primary key. Then we are going to get input from the user, first name, it is variable character, 50 character, last name and email. So this is like schema that we are defining for our table and the table name will be users. So this init.sql file is actually creating table and we already provided this along with our source code. But how we are going to use this? So what will happen over here? From the current directory, from where we are actually creating this Docker image from this Docker file, we will have this init.sql file. Now, this command, copy command, will copy this init.sql file inside the Docker container and it will copy this file here. Inside Docker container, you will have docker-entry point.initdb.d. So this init.sql file will be copied here in this location. Now whatever you are going to copy here in this location, it will be automatically executed. So it will create table name user automatically inside our database. This is the main use case. So this line copies SQL initialization script from your build context in the directory where the Docker file is located into the MySQL image. The destination directory will be /docker-entry point.initdb.d is a special directory in MySQL image. It is already specified and all this detail you will get from the Docker image. If you go to the Docker Hub and if you will find out this image, they will provide you all this detail. When the MySQL container is started, any .sql file in the directory are automatically executed. Which file we want to execute? Init.sql, and it is already provided you along with your source code. So look at this. We just need to copy this and then we need to execute this. This is useful for setting up the initial database table and data. So this is our first Docker file. Here I already provided you detail about init.sql. Let me go with this.
Sorry guys, sorry to disturb you. I know you all are enjoying the session and suddenly it stopped. But if you want full video or if you want full Docker course having 130 plus videos including projects, you can become our community member. Enrollment link is in description. Moreover, we also provide 24/7 support, weekly lifetime live session with Bhavesh Atara, updates and completion certification as well. Still you have any queries regarding it, you can contact me on my personal number. Thank you.